In the Gospel of Matthew, it says, "With man, this is impossible, but with God, all things are possible." Easter is a story of faith and miracles. And miracles, we know, drive miraculous events. So I want to start this morning because the real story of Easter starts with the conception of Jesus. And I want you to imagine some 2,000 plus years ago, a young girl named Mary, 17, engaged but unwed, a virgin, found herself pregnant. It was a very scary and difficult time. And the angel Gabriel came to Mary and said, "Do not be afraid. God has given you a child, a son, and you will name him Jesus, and he will bless the world." That comforted Mary. And at that moment, Mary chose faith over fear, and she let her spirit rejoice. There were so many lessons that Jesus had to teach. His ministry was only 3 short but potent years, and he sprinkled miracles all through the land, everywhere he went. Yet I think maybe his greatest message came from the words he gave his disciples at the Last Supper. Now imagine, this is the Last Supper, the day before he's crucified, and he knows what's before him. He knows exactly what's going to happen. And he's at the table with the disciples and some followers, and he makes a decision right then and there not to complain about the injustice of government or the inequality in society or the problems that are going on. He chooses to tell them what's really important. The Gospel of John said, while sitting at supper, Jesus said, "I give you a new commandment, a new one, that you love one another just as I have loved you. And if you love me, you will fulfill that commandment." Jesus knew at the depth of his being that love heals, love never dies, love is the power that will make everything new, and was going to carry him forward. And he went on, as the Gospel of John says, then he prayed, and he spoke of joy and said, "I speak these things in the world so they may have my joy. They may have my joy made complete in themselves." Ernest Holmes, in The Science of Mind, talks about this joy that Jesus spoke of on the eve of his crucifixion. And he said, this is the joy that is whole and complete. This is the joy that no one can touch, nothing can touch. It is the joy inside us that knows that life is eternal, that goodness is always at hand. It is that joy I speak of. And Jesus went on to pray, and he spoke of oneness. He said, "Father, the glory that you have given me, I have given them, so that they may be as one, as you and I are one. I in them, and you in me, that they may be made completely one." So at dinner, he explained of love, joy, and oneness at the time of his darkest hour. And then he went to the Garden of Gethsemane to pray. And we know what happens from there. Jesus was crucified, and they put him in a tomb. But they rolled a giant boulder in front of the tomb, and as Dr. Roger explained, that boulder is very symbolic for us. Because in the tomb, we know that the women were coming to anoint him, and he was going to rise. The women, when they came to the tomb, they saw the big boulder like we do. Our boulders are negativity, fear, and separation. We don't have to be saved from anything except our own minds. We need to clear out those outmoded thoughts and feelings that keep us behind the stones and boulders that weight us down. So listen what the women did when they saw that big, giant boulder and they couldn't get in to anoint Jesus' body. They said, "Who is going to roll away this stone?" And an angel did. And that's a message for all of us. That no matter what's going on in our life, all of us die at some point of the life we thought we were going to have. Maybe once, maybe twice, maybe lots of times. But we die to that life, and we have a choice if we're going to resurrect into a higher level of thinking, to be a beneficial presence on this earth, or if we're going to stay stuck in the old mode of thinking that got us there to begin with. As Albert Einstein said, you can't fix the problem from the same level of thinking that created it. So every time we have that stone in our mind that's weighting us down with fear and worry, what do? Can we count on the angels that are around us, the wisdom that's around us? There is an eternal mind that is behind and around everyone all the time. It's always there. Are we going to take time to get access to it, to open to that love, that faith, that oneness that is always there? I'm going to invite you this morning to just quiet your minds and open your hearts to that wisdom, to the love, to the faith, to the unity that is right there always, so that you may be lifted and free. If that didn't get you to recognize and know, it's time for us to come together. We have work to do, both inner work, to let go of any outmoded beliefs, any thoughts of limitation, any thinking that we are separate. And we have outer work to do, just as Jesus said, to love one another. It's time for us to not only think that this is possible, that we come together, but to believe it is true right now.